folks. Welcome to another episode of Better You. I think most of you know Ravit. Ravit is the founder, host of a very famous show called The Ravit Show. He's wearing a very cool T-shirt. And I know Ravit from the data community because I see him in the Databricks Summit, Snowflake Summit, so many other shows that he goes around. And for me, Ravit is like an inspiration because he has done that real hustle to build his brand. And also, the way we are planning to do this episode, I want Ravit to share his story. How did he get into content creation and get to this influencer status? And then how does he handle his social anxiety, if he has one? And any other advice that he has for future content creators? And the last piece will be what's next for Ravit? Because I saw Ravit, your post, like you were on the Times Square. Looks like, things are looking great for you. And I think it would be great if we can just start with your introduction and how did you find Ravit Show?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, Neeraj, thanks for inviting me to the show. I'm kind of excited to chat about my journey, different aspects of content creation, and a lot more for your audience. Just to give you a quick intro, I'm the founder and host of the Ravit Show, as you mentioned. Where I come from is a very different field from data and AI, which is finance. I've done my finance in MBA. I've done my investment banking from IIM Indore, but then uh it's always said when you kind of do various things and then you land up doing something else in your life. That's what has actually happened with me. But then obviously I've had like a successful study career, I would say, in finance, but when I started a career, it was more on the lines where I was starting with a research job, and that research job actually was around the lines where I was working closely with a lot of researchers, data analysts, to create market research reports. And these reports used to be about various things. It could be about chemical, it could be about around, say, healthcare, it could be about, say, accessories. And basically, my job there was only fresh out of the MBA, obviously learning more about data, the how to collect the primary data, the secondary data, and that's what I was doing to create those reports. But then soon I kind of, obviously more into the game, I kind of realized that, okay, this is something which is pretty interesting for me. I like how you kind of pull the data, forecast it, and create market research reports. And one thing I kind of understood is data is kind of gonna play a very important role. So that was like the starting point for me. But then obviously later in my career, I got an opportunity to work with a publisher where I used to work with data and AI authors to create a lot of I would say books in terms of that would help the community a lot more, like commissioning books from end to end, finding gaps. Like today, if data transformation is something which is very much the topic, and people would love to read about that, and if there are no books around it, what could be the different subtopics around data transformation, who could be the best author, and then find a market for it and amplify it. So that is something what I was doing, but also it kind of gave me a deeper insight into the data and AI community. And that was the birth to the Ravit Show, because I kind of realized that, okay, people would love to learn, and it could be by various means. It's not only just through the books. What more can I do for them? And that's when I started the Ravit Show. Like it was just a quick live LinkedIn live show that I kind of started, and I was looking for more interesting voices in this space, so in the data and AI voices who can come and talk on the show, and that could be incentive for the community. That, okay, fine, we're gonna learn from interesting leaders. These are CEOs, CTOs who are really building things, and then obviously making sure where there's no salesy talks that are happening on the Ravit Show. Rather, it's more focused on the problem and what type of problem these leaders were solving. And slowly and steadily, once you kind of get into it, and I was kind of super passionate about it as well, still passionate to go out and talk to the community and help them. And for the community from day one, we always decided that, okay, we'll keep it open, free, and make sure that the community will get all the insights. I know that's a longer introduction that
No,
you might
this
have
is
expected,
no,
Neeraj.
no, no, no. Ravit,
Yeah,
I am a huge fan of story telling, and I think the biggest question which I am wondering, and also a lot of people I talk to about, people like you, what is the inspiration? How do you motivate yourself? Because I do know the fact that discipline is very important when it comes to content creation and helping people out. What is your motivation? How do you motivate yourself?
so yeah, that's a good question, and I kind of often get to, there are folks who kind of ask me that, okay, how do you, stay up? Like right now I'm in Mumbai and it's like 10 p.m. Okay, why would you do it at so late in the night? But maybe, the answer is easy when you're kind of passionate about a few things. It kind of doesn't feel that way where you're hustling or not like I'm promoting any hustle culture. It totally depends on person to person. I love to be involved in the community. I love to match up with the timings where my clients, where my partners, where my community sits, even if it's United States, right? So first thing I say is always passion will keep you motivated. If you're kind of passionate about something, you would want to stay up in the night, chat with the people, work around those times. Not like you're not wanting to live your life. You'll definitely live your life as well. Like just adjust it according to what you're working around. The second big thing is obviously, people. I think people is people in the community are like one and the same thing, right? They keep me motivated. Like Neeraj, today I'm talking to you, but then maybe when we are at a conference, I'm meeting a lot of people. If there's even one person out of, say, 5,000 people attending a conference that comes to me and tells me that, okay, fine, I've seen your content and it has helped me somehow. That gives you motivation to do it more, right? Because you kind of see people knowing you, people, not about the fame or anything, but then it's about, you keeping uh you're actually helping them in their career, or at least educating them in the most simplest way through the digital means, right? So those are the things that keeps me motivated, at least passion in people, like both P's, I guess.
Very
Yeah,
nice, very nice. I know the fact that it's not easy because when you put yourself out, when you share your opinion, your voice in media, in public, you do receive a lot of constructive feedback, but you also receive
100%.
criticism. And as part of doing this community work that you're doing, what, if you don't mind, could you share just more insight? What are the challenges you have seen when you started this show? And I know,
Right.
you're a very famous guy now. Um, uh, if you compare those challenges now, in today's world, how would you compare the landscape? The context behind the question is, as I am, talking to more content creators, more people, they're saying, listen, man, I
Right.
started something, but I'm not going anywhere. And every time I talk to someone, I went through my own personal experience in life. So I learned that discipline is the key in your life. And of course,
100%.
being consistent. You have to stay consistent. You cannot be perfect all the
100%.
time, but you just have to stay consistent. So Ravit, I want to actually learn and understand a little bit more from you, those challenges that you face early days and nowadays.
So to be honest, Neeraj, the challenges always remain the same. It's just like how you're kind of looking at it. There could be one bit where, which has kind of gave us the push where we are today, and that could be COVID, because everyone was digitally attached, and now people know the value of content creation, and people have seen the content closely sitting at home. They've got more time, but then the world is huge. Not like the people who were kind of, on digital, like were on various social media during COVID. They're not right now. Everyone's still on social media. They're still surfing. It's just a little less. So in this time, the only difference is you'll have to go a little bit ahead in the game in terms of pushing your content, which is fine. What I would always suggest is, like, for me, the challenge was the same, that, okay, you've started freshly. For someone who's starting a show freshly, what's the motivation? The motivation is like, okay, people are gonna watch me, but I'm nervous at the same time. That's a challenge for sure. How many people are gonna watch me? Is it just one person who's gonna watch me and then be like, okay, we don't know what he's talking about? Is it gonna work or no? Another challenge. The third challenge is obviously, you go on a show and you see 20 people watching it. That's it. And that becomes a challenge as well, right? That how can only 20 people watch it? I have 5,000 connections and I only see 20 people watching the show. Am I doing something wrong? No, you're not. Maybe it's just that those 20 people um, your video has reached, or right now those 20 people are interested about that particular topic. It could be a very niche topic. So there are various things that you need to understand before thinking that, okay, you're creating a content which is not resonating with people. It could be where the content strategy could be a thing. If you have certain topics you are well versed with, you don't need to worry. For those who kind of feel challenged right now, you just need to go out and push the content a little bit more in terms of people looking at it. And like you rightly mentioned, Neeraj, you already know it, and I'm pretty sure the audience know it. I don't want to sound cliche, but yes, consistency does matter. I have made sure where I kind of go out 365 days, putting out a post on LinkedIn minimum. Like, and if say, okay, for a day I have missed it, I know for a fact where I might have compensated it on an average where I posted twice in a day as well, so many times. So that's the consistency you need to keep, and then not everything is gonna work. You said it right, where it's a certain topic. Today I'm talking about data engineering because I've gathered so much info from so many interviews that I've done, but there could be topics which might do way better. Could be data analytics, right? Because there are a lot of people into analytics as compared to engineering. So I would say those challenges are, obviously it was there previously as well. You just need to make sure that you need to strategize your content a little bit if it's not working. But then if you're consistent about something, and if you are master at something, and if you're doing well, you don't need to worry. The questions that I get is like, am I not camera friendly, or am I not the people are judging me because of my face or something, which is not true, to be honest. Because if people are watching us right now, Neeraj, either it's not like because they like our faces, maybe they like what we're kind of talking about, or maybe they are sitting there watching that, okay, in the next 25 minutes I'm going to get some good insights about content creation, about community, about just podcasting, maybe from you as an anchor. They could be looking at various things. So you need to have that sort of mindset where people don't look at face or anything. Like, be presentable, I always say, like, not a problem. But they're not going to judge you or your content by your face or how camera friendly you are or not. Because there are such good leaders who are not camera friendly, who are shy, who will be like, they'll speak so less, but they're doing amazing in their work, right? So
I moved from engineering to sales, and I used to sit in a 9 to 5 cube job for first 12 years of my career. Then I moved to a sales engineering career, and I got into Hortonworks. That's how I came into the whole big data community. Originally, I started as an Oracle databases guy. Now, the reason I'm sharing this because as I moved to sales, I started talking to more people. Ravit, I always had this, and I think still sometimes I feel like, man, my Indian accent is too thick. And I started comparing myself with other people. But you said it really well, that it's not about how we look and how we sound. It's more about the content quality. If the content is useful, people will keep listening to this particular episode and many other episodes and many other shows like the way you do it, right? So I think it's a great segue for us to talk about the communities. Looks like it's very clear to all of us that you have built an amazing presence in data and AI community. So it brings back to, what are your favorite communities, and also how do you approach to these communities to push more content, help more people, just like overall your strategy, how are you doing this?
Yeah, so good question, Neeraj. In terms of communities, I've kind of from day one said that okay, I'm people's person. I love to be around various different types of topics. I want to, not limit it to just data engineering or just data analytics or just ML ops or just AI. And right now, I always was like, I want to gather the community together to follow me, and I'll bring the content for them. I'll go out and talk to each of these different types of categories in data, each of those categories and AI, which are kind of now building up, and keep building a huge community around it. So obviously, various communities kind of work differently. They have a different approach, but my job is, to be honest, it's a little easier in terms of approaching the community because I'm talking to experts in the communities. It's not always just about me. Even if I'm kind of creating content with them, I put them, under the bus, asking various different questions and difficult questions, easy questions. But then at the same time, sometimes when you're kind of going out and, now it's been close to more than 5.5 years just doing this, but then more than 10 years at least in the data and AI space, right? So I have certain opinions about things as well, about engineering, because you've been in the space so much in depth. I've kind of seen from an educational perspective, from an enterprise perspective, from a vendor perspective. So there are three different types of perspective I kind of carry sometimes as well, right? So that is something which is pretty interesting for different types of audience too. And sometimes, like you said, it might backfire. There are, obviously experts who might come back to me and say that, Ravit, I don't agree with this post. What are you kind of posted about? Because I've kind of faced, in my experience, I faced it differently. And 100%, it could be something which might not resonate with everyone out there, right? So that's something, which is how, for me, the approach is very easy. I kind of, obviously go out and have three different perspectives when I'm kind of, putting out even an infographic on LinkedIn or having, a post which would be around, or a newsletter which is around educational for my audience. And at the same time, obviously bring experts, which makes my job easier. So, it also helps the community in a lot of ways because they feel that okay, now we're hearing from an expert. 20 minutes of our investments with a CEO or with a CTO or with an enterprise leader who's kind of either building or either the consumer, and sharing real-time experiences. And even for that, right, Neeraj, it's not just limited to uh the the audience who's like, if I'm interviewing an enterprise leader, sometimes it's like only the enterprise leaders are watching him because
Yeah.
it's like maybe he's talking about build versus buy, and that could be an interest or to the enterprise, right? Enterprise, other enterprise leaders, that what is this guy talking about, but also to the vendors maybe, because they might be selling it to that person or the enterprise leader, right? So different communities, different styles, you need to adapt it. It will come, like if you start overthinking about it, you'll be in a mess. Then you won't be able to go out and post. Be open to criticism, be open to feedback. People will like your content, people won't like it. But if you have something that you are sharing out of experience, do it. Otherwise, what would you do? Like you're sitting with a lot of knowledge. What would you do? I always say, even if you're not a content creator, you should go out and have your own voice. It doesn't have to be where you have to be a content creator, full-time content creator to do something like this, right? You have a full-time gig as well, Neeraj, but then you still have this podcast, which is so good because you get so much more to learn from this, hustle of yours. that you feel that now I know people very well when I go out and pitch about my product as well, because I understand the mindset of people as well. Content creators operate in this way. Enterprise leaders operate in this way. The solution architects operate in some other way, right? So I always say, like, don't worry about communities. Just go out and post, and those who for whom it would resonate, they'll come back and follow you and keep questioning you, give you feedback, complain, all of those things.
Very true. So in my sales career, right, one thing that I learned, it's called ICP, Ideal Customer
Mm,
Profile. But as I started posting more on LinkedIn recently, in the last 6 months or
right.
so, my immediate network came to me. They said, Neeraj, you are spamming us. And I said, listen, I would like you to unfollow me because you are not my ideal customer profile. You're not my ICP, right?
Right.
And I think something important you highlighted, if you stop taking things personally, and if you keep your ego aside, take that feedback as a blessing. In that
Yeah,
criticism, there's a constructive feedback, or there may be a feedback. Take that and improve the quality of your content, right? But
exactly.
the moment ego comes in, we have a problem, right? As a content creators, yeah.
So,
So you just nailed it. And so Ravit, I want to know, when you are
yeah.
traveling around, how do you manage uh, all these events that attending, you're connecting with people? And one thing which always comes up during my discussion with various other folks, a lot of people have social anxiety. Do you have social anxiety?
I think, Neeraj, for me, the mindset is a very important thing because, I travel a lot, and day in and out, like if I'm on road, obviously I'm meeting so many people, but at a conference, like obviously I still meet people at airports, at restaurants, and all of those things as well. It's not just limited to conference. Imagine, like, you obviously be on site at conferences. You know how those 12 hours are every day, where you spend like so much time meeting people. By end of every day, you don't have energy in your legs. You can't speak and all of those things because you've done so much, right? And going back to the mindset thought, right? I've always had that one mindset that I've kind of created for myself. When I'm going out there and meeting people, I want to make sure, or when I'm on road, to be honest, I want to make sure I'm making the most of it. I don't want to keep that anxiety in me that, okay, right now I'm just not in that mindset, because that's the business I'm in, to be honest. And maybe one more thing, which is personal, is what I like meeting people. I like getting experiences. So that keeps me going. But I've met creators who feel the social anxiety. They are very good with camera. They're very good with talking to 200,000 people on social media. But if you meet them in person, it's a little different from what you see it on camera, and which is completely okay. Everyone have different personalities. It's not about, you have to be, if you're like a public figure, or you're kind of going out there and, doing so much online. And when you see people, you kind of suddenly be like, okay, I don't want to see so many people around me, or, I can't talk to so many people. And that is okay. That happens with a lot of creators. It is not for me. So I'm happy that's not the scenario with me. And I kind of, to be honest, I don't feel like social anxiety, at least when I'm on road. Personally, like I'm in Mumbai, I still don't feel, to be honest. So maybe I'm weird, but yeah.
I love it. It's two things which I learned. Of course, it's listening to many other folks. Stay weird and stay hungry. That's the only way to live.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for me personally, otherwise you'll be bored, right?
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
okay, I'm sure that you do face a lot of rejection in this career.
Mm,
How what
yeah.
is what is the mindset? What is the mindset that you have when you say, when you reach out to people? Because you are a product of your own. You are the CEO of Ravit Show. You are a revenue machine
Right.
for your own product. And,
Exactly.
rejection is part of life. What is your mindset behind accepting the rejection?
I think the clear, motive when you kind of start a business is when you kind of have to understand that there are two aspects. It's going to work and it's not going to work. For those, it's going to work. That's where you're going to make good money. You're going to pay bills. And for the part that's not going to work, you're going to learn from it. So simply understand that, okay, rejections are not something which is permanent. You need to, when you kind of go out and start a business, you'll find a lot of rejection because you don't have a use case to share with a lot of audience. But once you kind of, build that brand, once you kind of get a few people who trust in you, and then you get into journey with all, with all the, I would say, motivation that you have, there's no stopping. And you'll still feel there are a lot of rejections that will happen. Sometimes it's not the right fit. Sometimes it's not the right audience. Sometimes it's about the budget. Sometimes it's about they feel that, okay, this is not something we would invest in, like, right? So I feel rejections are a part and parcel. If there's always a yes that you get, you're gonna get bored of that as well. What's the challenge? Like, okay, if 10 companies tell me that, okay, Ravit, we want you to work with us today and for the next 3 months, and I've just reached out to those 10. What's the next thing? Okay, fine. I'm going to get a yes from everyone. But what's the motivation? What's the fun? Someone's going to say no, a little bit of your ego would come in that, oh, this person is telling me no, but I want to make sure that at least the next one that I'm reaching out, I want to get a yes. And when I get a yes, that's a win, and that will make you happy. That, okay, you're working around something that is of value to someone else, if not this person. So, which is fine. I think
Very
that's the
nice.
way how you kind of take the rejection and just keep moving forward. It's always good to be positive about things that you're doing. If you kind of start thinking and having that mind blocks. And I'm pretty sure, Neeraj, in your career as well, you might have seen that, oh, not everyone's going to buy my product, right? It's going to be like a few people who's going to be like so excited about it, and they'll be like all in, they'll be give you everything. And some people would be like, no, not at all. I'm not going to buy it. Anyways, right?
Very
So
nice.
that's
You
the way
know,
how it works.
what you just highlighted from your point of view, that's a mindset of a winner, because that's a winner mindset that, sure, N stands for next, N stands for no, I will keep moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Let's let's switch gears really quick. As you spend a lot of time on data AI side, as part of the final segment of our episode, where do you see the Gen AI, LLM, all this noise that we have into this community right now? Let's filter that noise out. Give us your prediction. Again, unofficial, official prediction. Where do you see next 5 years of Gen AI?
So
Flexibly, let's do it.
awesome. So Neeraj, good question there in terms of, obviously what's next in the next 5 years in the Gen AI world. Like, I know for a fact, where I talk to a lot of leaders in this space. I've spoken to obviously a lot of practitioners, AI practitioners in this space, even from companies like OpenAI or Perplexity, these founding engineers. I've kind of, always felt, AI is huge for sure. And it has obviously, with all of us now using AI in some or the other way, who's not using ChatGPT, who's not using maybe u.com, who's not using different types of video editors, and those are those who have like amazing AI capabilities. And what I feel is, in the next 5 years, there are a lot of things that would be definitely very well toned, in terms of toning the hype down to a level where we kind of feel that, okay, things are now real. If the leaders, if there's companies talking about AI, they will definitely have a use case. They still have a use case. I'm not saying there are not use cases that have come out in the last 3 years. I've spoken to many companies as big as Bayer or as big as a few leading banks. They are using AI in the most in most of their products now, and are doing pretty well. They are actually saving costs. They are skilled. They are automated a few things. So it is working, but in the next 5 years, I'm pretty sure the hype will come down. There'll be many more use cases, and that will help us understand the space more in terms of the implementation. Uh, and there's always a debate that when I say this, because people say that hype is never going to go. Whenever there's a product, there is hype. And that is, I always say that is true to a level, but then we all know what hype is and what real things are, even today. Even if we, obviously go out and see so many things, but we're kind of curious right now. You never know. We're not in the right state of assured, like the surety that we have, right? Once in the next 5 years, when we see the clear picture, there'll be a lot of less hype, more consolidations that will happen in the space as well. There'll be a lot of AI companies who would be out of the game or maybe consolidated with the bigger players, which always happens in any industry that you are in. And there will be a lot of new players who would come out of, as the new tech giants in AI, or if they don't sell themselves out.
Yeah. Love it. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then for sure we're gonna see some good tech giants coming out of this. In open, in AI, if someone asks me, or maybe even asked you, Neeraj, you would say OpenAI is the giant right now. Because they came up with ChatGPT, but there are other players as well, like Perplexity, Cloud, and these guys are also doing fantastic and have huge user base. So it's great space. Things will hype down. There'll be a lot of consolidation, and I hope there'll be AI tech giants that we'll see in the next 5 years for sure.
Yeah, and not mentioned, right? And like Databricks guys are doing great job in the same
Amazing.
space.
Yes.
Yeah. And Anthropic guys, like, AWS invested billions of dollars in Anthropic. So they have done.
Yes.
But I am 200% with you on this one. There will be a huge consolidation as part of the base model. And I think what's going to happen, and this is just me looking at the field, vertical AI, the more applications will be developed on the some base models. And I know there's a lot of noise on the base model, and those base models will be consolidated. Ravit, again, this is the final segment of our show. I'm so excited that we got connected. Any advice that you have for the content creators, for data community, anything as part of the departing from this episode, any thoughts you have?
I'm thoroughly enjoyed the episode till now. Sad to getting this done, but then good question, Neeraj. I always say one thing, and you mentioned it in the episode while we were talking as well, that there are creators who come and say that, oh, we've done everything, but it didn't work, and something on those lines, right? I always say that, and I don't want to be very philosophical, but I'll say one thing very clearly, that if you want to stay in the business, you would have to go out and go that extra mile. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be like where you have to be at the forefront. When AI, OpenAI came up with ChatGPT, I remember I used to get notifications every hour about new updates. Now, how do you kind of keep up with those types of updates? And it's not only just me, everyone in the industry would be, seeing that, oh, this player has come and this is the new model. And it still happens, right? So you have to be at the forefront. You have to go that extra mile and build that for yourself. And once you kind of build that for yourself, you'll feel more responsible about doing this. And then you'll feel that, okay, I'm kind of stuck in this loop where I have so much work or so much to catch up or so much to go out and create, which is a good problem to have, to be honest, because that's what you wished for. So the simple advice is go on this journey with a clear mindset of doing it without worrying about views, likes, because that's what we tend to worry about a lot. Sometimes I'm not a motivational speaker that I'm going to get like 500,000 likes on a post that I'm kind of putting. I'm a data creator, and it is a very niche space in terms of there's a lesser audience that is around that space. So you need to understand. So understand your space and make sure that what type of audience you're catering to, what is the number, and don't worry about it. Just don't have any roadblocks in your mind, and that will help you to get to the next level. If you have if for a second as well, if you have that roadblock, remove that and get on a journey. And one more thing, if you are in the journey and if you at all feel not so motivated, bored with what you're doing, it could be where you're making good money, it could be where you're doing very well for yourself, but you're bored, don't do it. The minute,
Yes.
just leave it and do something else that you like. Because what happens is in this business, people kind of also tend to understand that you're not motivated about what you're doing, because it will reflect on the work and the content that you're creating. So you need to be very careful about if you are in this space, what you're creating will always reflect your mindset too. And that's why that goes back to something that I said, Neeraj, that for me, social anxiety is not a thing.
Yeah.
Is because I've had that mindset of meeting people, talking to people, gathering information, and going out there and sharing it with the community. And that's when I have like even 1% of social anxiety that would come in front of my work and what I'm wanting to create. So maybe and not like I'm keeping it away. It's not there. That's the reason I'm able to put it out so purely, authentically, and just keeping it easy for the audience to learn.
Very nice. And I think as a closing statement, what I just learned, and this is again my understanding, my personality. If you have a higher purpose, if you have a bigger purpose, and the purpose cannot be making money, making money is great. We all
Yeah.
need to make money.
Yeah.
But the purpose is that, hey, I want to connect with people the way you and I were connected. And
Right.
I want to help people share the content with people so that they can also learn and they can get inspired. If we can change one life while we are here, I think our purpose is solved. So, Ravit, this is
That's
amazing.
right.
When you are in San Francisco, please do come. We're going to hang out and we're going to spend some time in person. I know last time when I saw you at Database AI Summit, you were super busy. I was doing my day-to-day job. But this time, we're going to connect together.
Yeah, for sure. I'm there
Yes.
next month in September, so happy to catch up for sure, Neeraj.
Nice. I love it. Thanks, Ravit.
Yeah. Awesome. You take care. Thanks, Neeraj. Thanks for
See
hosting
you.
me, and great work. Thanks.
Bye.